Hey y'all, if this is your first time here, then welcome. My name is Adrienne, and I make videos about production and video editing. Today I just wanted to sit and give a little bit of advice to any beginning editors out there. Editing is something that can't be avoided unless you're doing something like a live stream. It's part of the process of having a YouTube account or even a social media account. I mean, you're doing basic editing for your short form videos as well. I've had a lot of people tell me how much they really hate editing. Primarily what I hear is that it takes a really long time. And while I guess I can understand that, it's a little hard for me because I really like editing. One aspect of editing videos like this is that you do have to get used to watching yourself. And that's something that I did have to get used to. Also, regardless of who you're recording, you're gonna have to comb through all those messed up takes. But once you have all of those good takes, it becomes like solving a puzzle. I have all of these takes that are good takes, but on their own, they're kind of awkward. So how do I stitch them together in order to make something really great? I worked in documentary production for a long time, and there's a similar kind of puzzle you have to solve on those kinds of projects as well. And I just really love it. I think it's interesting and engaging and really gratifying when you finally figure it out and you've put it together and then you play it back from start to finish. You get that moment like, oh yeah, this works and it's awesome. Now, watching yourself is just how you get better. I was not used to being on camera when I started making videos for YouTube. I found that when I was watching myself, when I was editing these videos, that I was remembering the coaching that I was giving my on-screen talent. And I started telling myself those things. And then of course, I felt a real sense of accomplishment when I saw myself, literally saw myself, applying that coaching in the next video. And I wouldn't have seen that growth if I wasn't going through the editing process. Now, you record your video, you take your footage, and you have the task of making a great video. What makes a video great? Primarily, it's storytelling. And part of storytelling is change. You want your audience to click on your video, watch it, and by the time they're done with it, they've learned something. So all of the work that you're doing in the editing process is propelling your video towards that goal of showing your audience something new by the end. I want you to take a project that you're working on and think about the edit. Does what you're watching reflect the energy of the story you're trying to tell? For instance, fast cuts will convey a more frantic energy. Is that what your video needs? Or do you hold on to longer shots so that your audience can really absorb what a person on screen might be feeling? What if you're editing an interview? You can do quick cuts on the person answering the question. You can hold on that person for a longer period of time while they really think about their answer to the question. You could cut to the person asking the questions every time they nod in response to an answer, because that will signal to the viewer that that is something that is important to remember. Think about your music. Do you want swelling music to really underscore something profound? Do you want a particular point to drop on a musical beat or a song change? Those are also ways that you signal to the viewer that that was an important moment that you want them to remember. I know that we're talking a lot about feelings and emotions in this video, and that's because editing isn't just about taking out bad takes. It's about first figuring out exactly what you want your audience to feel, and then making editing choices that will make them feel exactly what you want. Try not to do too much over editing because it can wind up making you look a little insecure. Stuff like too much motion blur, overly colorful, chaotic graphics, too many cuts, too fast, things that are going to make your video feel really chaotic. As a viewer, you watch that and you wind up wondering, what are you trying to hide? What are you trying to cover up? Can we just calm down a little bit and watch the video? Just remember as you're editing that there is real confidence in a clean edit that is seemingly straightforward. A fundamental technical thing that you can start doing now if you are a beginning editor is to learn your J-cuts. A J-cut is where your audio starts just a few frames before your video, and then there are very short fades in and out of your audio clips. Do a couple of edits on your timeline with J-cuts and without, and you'll see a big difference. J-cuts make your edits more smooth. It's a lot less jarring when you use them, and that means that your audience isn't going to notice cuts as they're watching your video. They're going to be paying attention to the story you're trying to tell. CapCut is a good editing software to start out on, but I would really recommend advancing enough that your skills outgrow CapCut, and then you can move on to a program like Adobe Premiere Pro. That you outgrow CapCut and you can move on to a program like Premiere Pro, which is what I use. And that's it. Editing is really like this emotional puzzle. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's so satisfying when you reach the end and you really feel like you've got it. Leave a comment below. Are you someone who kind of struggles with enjoying editing? Give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.